Hello, folks, and welcome to another episode of Clan from the Stands. As you can see, I'm not Ross. Ross basically just sprung it on me there literally 10 minutes ago that he wasn't able to record tonight, so I'm going to take the big seat and try and
Oh,
run this thing
good
a
luck
little
with that.
bit. Colin's going to help me out at every
And
turn, I
I'll,
hope.
I'll, I'll be Chris. I'll just rant and rave and get drunk.
So yeah, obviously we've had a few weeks off. We've no recorded. Ross has been very busy with work, so he kind of came in and helped us set up for tonight. So me and Colin's going to give it a bash and just discuss the last four home friendlies we've had over the last week.
Yes.
So first game was Harlev Eagles, a 3-3 draw. Um, Quite a good game. We had a lot of bodies out for that. A lot of Brits stepping in and stepping up was my thoughts.
Yeah, there's a few of them that done really well, wasn't it? I
Aye,
mean, you could
aye.
probably mention that the boys for Solway that stepped in and helped out. Young guy Carruth, who we know we've seen
I thought,
before.
yeah,
So
I thought,
there's
just
been
I was just going to say, I thought Kyle had a really good game that night for us. One of the kind of standouts for the people filling in. Aye, so we can be well pleased with that. And get his invite back for the following weekend because of that. Um, First look at the team, Colin. I had my favourites, you had your favourites. We argued
yeah.
about whose was whose favourites. You give your thoughts first on seeing the new all the new players, the new squad.
I
Um,
mean, the first week was hard because we were missing players, right? So that you could probably put the Eagles one down as a kind of, I don't mean a free pass, it's to get minutes in the legs and stuff like that. So we can't really tell much from it. I did see a lot more from this weekend against the French team, and I'm not even going to embarrass myself by trying to pronounce it in French, right? So we'll just call them the Spartans of Marseille.
yeah,
And
that's what
essentially,
I've got, mate.
they I would say the guys that stood out for me, I really do like the look of the boy Langlan. Again, I know it's early, but his movement and certain little bits that he did impressed me.
He,
I
he
did like
wasn't
the
he wasn't actually playing in that first game, by the
no, he
way.
didn't. He
Yeah,
didn't. No, but the
or
big
second.
boy Yarasek is a bit of a big strong, like holds the puck really well. Um, the keeper actually looked pretty good. Again, we've only seen him in a couple of games, so these are really just our first impressions. So it's not like don't quote us on this like 6 months down the line by saying, "Oh, by the way, he's rubbish," and you said he was good and blah blah blah. But essentially, I would say and the boy Fram this weekend, you could see he's a bit of class about him as a defender, like real. They didn't look as if they'd missed two games the week before. Put it that way.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's the guys that kind of stood out for me. Not to be negative, but the only guy that I wasn't overly impressed with over the four games was Buck.
Mm.
He was kind of
So
quiet for me, considering he was the big name. And over the four games, he didn't really do anything. I get it's early days, and you've got to learn the league and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, he didn't really set the heather on fire, if you would call it that.
mm, aye, so yeah, excuse me, Yarasek for me on that first night, he seemed to be everywhere, didn't he? Like he was really putting about, and he had to because they were just as physical as us.
Mm.
Um, we were. I would have said if you were to call it a fight, I would say we started it. Just the physicality side
Yeah.
of things. It was kind of because obviously both teams don't really know how to treat it. It's a friendly. Is it going to be? Is it going to be a hard hitting game? But certainly, for what I seen as the game progressed, they just get wilder and wilder.
Mm.
And I,
It was Yara second heard, wasn't it?
especially Yarasek really putting it about, and the big D guy, but Mackay, he
Mm.
was really putting it about as well. So I thought for the newcomers, I think I said this to you during the game. Yarasek really stood out, and I thought Roy showed a good bit of pace. in
Yeah,
that first night.
yeah.
Um, and for the guys that were there, obviously, I thought Mitchell Herd and
Seedorf.
no, he was good as well, but the other guy on the line with him, Jesus.
I'm gonna string you out of this and see if you can get it.
Do you know that? How can I not
But
remember that? Though? There's so
so
many new
he's
names.
German.
Sorry,
He's German.
just tell me, go.
Well, he's not German actually, but he played in a Dutch team. Not
Just
a
tell
Dutch
me.
team, sorry, a German team.
Just tell me.
Schwartz.
Schwartz, yeah, Schwartz. My
Well, he
favorite,
is German
my
actually,
favorite
sorry.
guy, but it's just I've been writing down loads of names here the night, so that's how I'm just taking a brain fry there.
I just thought I'd string that out of you just to make you feel awkward. It was quite funny because,
Just
to
for
be
helping me
fair,
out.
he is a pure nuisance. I did watch him. I liked him last year, right? But see, when you watch him, he just agitates as well as he's no scared to actually stick it about. And do you know the bit to digress slightly that I did enjoy from the first game? They put that little video out after the first game, right? And there was that little bit of a ruckus behind the net that had Yarasek and Herd. And the boy
Yeah,
takes a swing at Herd, and then you can almost see the look in his face where he's like, "Oh shit!" And then Herd like kind of just drops his stick and then gloves him. But I kind of did like that. But I did like what I have to mention as well is I did like Herd and his interactions with the crowd.
yeah.
It reminded me of Zach
Double down on
Fitzgerald.
that.
Yeah, like remember Fitzy used to do stuff and he used to do it on Twitter and things like that, and you would have that two-way with the supporters. Herd seems to have that connect with the support. You seen him like when he was in the box and he was doing the kind of all this, and then that guy blew a kiss and he caught it and he's like throwing it away. But all that, and even last night when they should have finished with that circle, he went back out and he thinged
Yeah,
round, and he has that connect with the fan base, and that's good because that's been missing for years. That
yeah,
is something that we have lacked.
yeah. You're right. We've not actually had something like that since Zach Fitzgerald, and it, it gives me confidence, like moving forward, that we've got somebody with his like skill set that he feels at home. You can tell he feels at home. He's really
Mm,
comfortable with the crowd. He
yeah.
came out with the at the start of the game as well, and he's giving all this the skating down in the
He
fans
was
at the
banging all
side.
the glass went in the
Yeah,
Saturday, the Friday
so
night.
he's getting the crowd right into it, right for the off, and it's just it gets you involved in it right away. You know what I mean? You're rooting for them, right? We're rooting for them anyway. But if you're a newbie or something walking into that, I think it just gets you involved in it. Just quickly, I'll tell you a quick story before we get into the games. I was there. Well, actually, the second game of the Halifax Eagles game. You weren't there. I wasn't
No,
there. I got the webcast for it. And it wasn't pretty, but the amount of bodies that we were down with that one in particular, you just couldn't get the same amount of effort out of them 2 nights back to back, especially with that being your first game. Yeah.
no, they must have been like in rigor mortis the following day,
Aye.
like kind of waddling in, that kind of way.
They
But
would have been absolutely shattered.
Corey mentioned that he said that Brian played well on Saturday after having a disastrous game the week before, and that if that's not like a
Seen that, by
telltale
the way.
on,
He
oh,
didn't mince his words with
like
that, did
he
he?
didn't hold back at all. And the bit for me is like I kind of like that because I think we all seen it, and you're allowed to have a bad game. I mean, you have bad days at work. I have bad days at work. It's
Yeah.
just you need to know you've had a bad day so that you can fix it. So, but yeah, it's that game. Like I said, the first two games against the Eagles were more a game for legs. That was more, when you're doing like doggy sprints and starting to get match fitness, if we would put it in that kind of
Yeah.
inverted comma. But the one against the French side Spartans, we were basically you could start to see little bits of chemistry pull out like between certain players,
Yeah.
which was kind of cool to see. Um,
Just before we go on to that game, obviously against the Eagles, the very first game, obviously I had a few choice words to say about the signing and re-signing of Parry. and a few
Mhm.
folk didn't like it. And then we started that game against them, and
I didn't think he scored.
Barry, aye, to the point, an absolute belter. And then he hit an absolute laser of a pass for the assist on the second goal we got that night. And me and you were just looking at each other and laughing. And I'm like, do you know what? Long may it continue. Hopefully this is a new
See, to
Parry.
be fair,
Is
the
it
only thing,
Philip? Is that his first name as well? Yeah. Isn't it?
It's Felix
Aye.
Parry, innit?
Felix Parry, sorry.
Yeah, but
So
what I would say about him is though he was signed for a role, right? And the bit that kind of disappointed me, if anything, when there was a couple of big hits getting put in by the other team the other night, and you were seeing other guys hitting back, like Nielsen had an absolute screamer of a hit on a boy, like he hit him flat in the back, like in the front. There was a big open ice hit by Mackay. Sadly, the refereeing hasn't had its pre-season because it's still as crap as it was last year. But anyway, that's a different conversation. But what I would say is, in he's not putting that same physicality about. You're kind of wanting a guy like that to be a little bit more physical. And I suppose he's the only kind of named fighter, if you would call it that, in our team. Now, given there's a few of them in the league this year, that kind of concerns me a little bit. But yeah, but
see,
it
see,
was
see,
funny. It was funny, like you were slaughtering him and then he pulled up 2 points out of nowhere.
just on the fighting thing, I noticed them both. Well, I was at three of the games. Uh, you were at three as well, yeah?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was waving
Uh,
at you on this Saturday, but you
Did,
couldn't see me.
I know, my sight's shocking these days. Do you think Nielsen is kind of trying to take that mantle a little bit more?
He's been looking for it,
He's
but then
been
his
he has
brother
been
was
looking for
fighting.
it. I noticed
His
that, and
brother,
I forgot to actually say it to you during the week, during the match the other night. Over the two games in that, I do feel that he's putting it about a lot more. I don't know if it's because it's the start of the season, he's wanting to prove himself, but it would be a wee bit comfort, because he's a solid guy. Do you know what I mean?
he's not a
So
fighter. He's not a seasoned fighter. Like if you look at the guys that are in the league now, there's guys there that can really go. But if you
yeah,
look at um, his brother actually fought last night for Sheffield.
yeah, I've seen that.
So, like, has that been a bet between the two of them to see who can hang it first? But to be fair, I'm all for that. Like, if they're all going to go for it, then they're all in it. Then I'm cool. I'm not a ball,
Yeah,
but I would like to have. I suppose my view on it is maybe different to most, but I quite like having that out and out. If it's a fourth liner that you send on as a crash and bash line, and essentially you have to go and do a job. Now, you either cause it or deal with it, but you need that go-to guy
yeah,
that's their job.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, not I don't mean an out and out goon, right? Because they don't exist anymore. But you do need that fourth liner, like a Garrett Klotz, for example, would be a perfect one for us. Big
Yeah,
body, put him on, and if anything kicks off, you know someone's going to be looking over their shoulder. But in the same instance, I'm only looking at that because I can see what other people have signed.
yeah,
And you either need to the team toughness thing doesn't really work for me. You're better having a named guy that is your go-to, that is your guy, so to speak. But in saying that, what I would say, and again, I know this will be a bit mishmash, but apart from last night, it was kind of concerning me our lack of kind of threat on goal over the 4 games. That one last night, sorry, in Saturday was a lot better. But again, we didn't seem to work their netminder as much as you would have hoped. Do you know what I mean? Like it was. I still reckon we lack that out and out goal scorer. Someone that is like, right, he's a boy that's going to stick in the net, puck in the net, 9 times out of 10.
well,
That's what worries me because, like I said, I wasn't overly impressed with Burke. Even like his work off the puck wasn't great for me. But again, that's just my opinion. That's not to say I'm right.
yeah. I mean, to be honest, in that first game on last week, the first night, I did feel we peppered the goal a lot, and it wasn't just like low percentage shots. I felt there was a lot of good shots. I thought more to the point, I thought their keeper had a really good game that night. So I wasn't really thinking about us not scoring. I was just feeling that that keeper was outperforming himself almost. Like was
Mm.
that was remember he done a couple of the split saves and stuff like that. It
Yeah,
was
I
fucking
think he was.
ridiculous.
He was like. I'm not saying he wasn't decent, but what I'm saying is, in
Mm,
there's pepper and a netminder, and then there is having that quality to
yeah,
really. And I suppose,
it's the first game, but I know.
yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, I suppose I'm being overcritical here, but then we did see things in penalties where they had like a little move, like the boy Langlan had a move,
Yeah.
and there was certain things that happened on that as well. But the boy Tepo looked reasonably good, and the boy Fram, like I said, boy Fram, even when he didn't have the puck, you can see him directing people, and
Mm.
his movement, and even his handling of the puck, and then he jumps, and when he jumps, his movement's phenomenal. He's a really nice skater.
Yeah.
Um,
We'll,
yeah,
we'll move on to the Spartans game then. Obviously, that was the game when
Langan, yeah.
Langan came in. Fram, is
Say
his
again,
name? What is his name?
who's
Fram,
that? Fram.
Fram. Sorry, Fram. Fram came in.
When it put your new teeth in, you know what I mean?
I know I know. Langley. Oh, it's just so many names. Fram came in. Um, the what was your
Tepo.
thoughts? What was your thoughts on the game? The first game. We'll start with the first game. What was your thoughts with the first game? And
I didn't think the result, like, I mean, I know we technically won, right? Because obviously the glass got done twice,
mm,
where Forbes got put through it the first time, and then the second time, I mean, they were so lucky nobody got hurt. That whole pain came right out on top of
I
somebody.
think there was somebody behind it.
It was one of the, but they did put a post up saying that they were okay, they've been checked out,
Ah,
and
right,
all that kind
okay.
of stuff. But it did look pretty, like, it looked a bad,
Well,
but coming
Forbes
down.
get cut, didn't he? Because I think there
No, I think all the glass went down his top. I think
was there
that's
no
why it went
blood
off.
on a bit of blood on the ice, but no.
No,
Oh,
I don't
right.
think so. I had
He
thought
would have been
initially there
back.
was, but I don't think so. The but yeah, I think the result of 3-1 kind of flattered them a little bit. Like I don't think it was a 3-1 game. It was just like they had a couple of bounces that did go in, and as much as I don't like that term, the 3-1 did kind of flatter them. So and then the penalties, it gave us an opportunity to see what we were like with penalties, and some of them were actually okay. Um,
Yeah, this
so
was in the second game you're talking about now.
first game, second game was overtime.
Oh yeah, sorry, you're right. Yeah,
So first game was with the penalties, and like I said, I think the 3-1 was kind of flattering to deceive. Not so much flattering to deceive; it's probably the wrong term. It kind of it didn't reflect on the game, if you would call it that. And then what I would say is that the second game, I thought it was going to be much the same, and then we obviously had that fight back, which was pretty nice to see. And it was a real push. You could see like everybody had like gritted in and started like doing that. And like I said, I do like the netminder reminds me a little bit of Kyle Jones, like same kind of stature, height.
same build.
He gets
Yeah.
down really quick. His rebound control's wide. I complained a lot about Landon Bow last year, coming straight back out again. There's a couple of things that he did do really well. And again, it's early days, but I did like the look of him.
Mm. Just on my views on that first game. When you're talking about the keeper, well, I remember. I think it was their third goal. It came over to the right. There was nice play by them actually, and it came over to the right. It was they were kind of messing about just outside the crease. The puck came over to the attacking team's their left hand side, and he hit the one timer. I was just I was wondering if he could have got there a wee bit quicker.
Just
Uh,
be sharp though, innit? Your
aye,
third game in,
you're hoping these things will
or
come,
second game.
obviously. But just with the third period, it was a bit of a collapse goal-wise against us in the third period. So,
3 goals in three
but
minutes.
yeah, Murph made a good point on that after battle thing that they were 3 weeks in front of us with a pre-season apparently.
Yeah, they're
So
3 weeks ahead in
something,
training. So was the other
something like
ones.
that is always going to show up in a third period.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be like overly critical of them for that. And then moving on to the second game, obviously, um, what happened. We were behind for most of the match. Uh, but when the before that game started, I was saying to you before we came on, did you hear the French guy singing the French national anthem?
Oh, I didn't.
So Gemma's brother-in-law and well, Gemma's sister and her man and their daughter was there with us, and that was their first time at the game since the takeover. So he's French, her husband's French, so we're like sitting, and then of these standing up for national anthems, and he was belting out the French national anthem. Anybody in Section C would have heard them. Do you know what I mean? Like lower C. The all of us were actually doubled over just laughing because he had the chin up and he was just belting it out. And his daughter was like, oh, it was so funny. Um, but it was just interesting. So that was their first game since the takeover, since the Jumbotron went in, since the flamethrowers and stuff went in. So I was kind of just sitting trying to watch it through their eyes and just kind of gauge their reaction and stuff. And the clan have absolutely got it spot on. They
Oh,
were
it's
that
good, isn't it?
the whole thing, the jumbotron, the flames, and I could just tell I was kind of giving them side eye just to watch. I didn't want them knowing I was watching them for their reaction. And it was all the all this stuff. This is great because the flames are shooting up.
Mm.
The players are coming in out, and that's what I was talking about with Mitchell Herd with the coming up, doing the ear thing and all that. Aye, so just you've got to
I've got that right, haven't they? Like,
they've
see
got
when
it, mate. They've got it spot on.
it's
Clangus, the whole lot.
they
Aye,
didn't do that
so
on Saturday. Did you know that? I noticed, the thing with Clangus pulling up in the
yeah,
car, getting out.
I
I
know.
really enjoyed that, right? The only, if I was going to be critical, the only thing I think they should have done was walk it up as if Clangus is coming out and then
Aye, they
walks it
come
onto
out
the
at the
ice,
same
right?
time, yeah, as if they're
But
walking right through.
I would say that the whole build up now is over a bit of a prolonged period. And remember beforehand, it used to be like, remember, you're welcome in this car, blah, 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 right? And they still do that. But
Mm,
I do like the fact that there's this huge build up and it's almost like suspense. It can be like you're
yeah,
pushing it on and everybody gets into it, like the kids, you can see everybody standing up and I really enjoy it. Like the lights on the ice are good as well, where they've got the big Scottish flag now when they do a Scottish national anthem.
yeah.
They've got the little kind of the dots going all over the ice as well. So yeah,
Mhm,
you've got to tip your hat to them. I think they've got that
yeah.
bit spot on. Their music choice is good. It's all very kind of motivational. I really
Mhm.
enjoy it. I've got to tip my hat to them. It's pretty awesome.
Week by week, it has been getting better. That obviously
Yeah.
the new season, I just the flames are lit more. There's more flames. Essentially, is what I'm trying to say.
And they do it now,
And
not just with players, like they bust it in
and at
every
the end
so
of the
often,
day,
just
like
randomly.
who doesn't love flames at a hockey match? Do you know what I mean? It's just brilliant. So on the match though, let's talk Turkey. Langlan's first game,
Right,
Fram's
okay.
first game.
Are you talking about the Saturday night or the Friday?
Just those two weekend games.
Hmm.
Uh,
Tepo.
I'll give you my thoughts on Langland especially.
But Tepo was in as well. That was his first weekend. That was the three of them that came
Depo
in.
as well. Yeah, I've not got him written down. I'm excited about Langan
Yeah.
because, like, first of all, the penalty shot tells you a lot about him. Just the penalty shot, the way he showed a move, and actually a lot of the players basically had a move. I think the only one that never really had a move was Newmanen. He
Yeah.
just kind of went up and like hit it. So that was pleasing to see because obviously penalty shots, how many have we lost just by getting up and
Yeah.
scalping the puck?
Yeah.
Like absolutely skill-free penalty shots. It's been a bugbear of mine for a long time. But and just during the game, Langland just seems like he's got. Well, I think I'd say to you after the first two games. I'm not seeing anybody that's got the skill or the ability of Mitchell Herd. I think if one person's going to have it, it's going to be that boy Langlan. He's just a wee. I think he's going to be a goal scorer. Like, I think he's going to be the guy who says you don't really see as having an out and out. I
Maybe
think for the two games I've seen, I think he's going to be the man for that. What's your
like
thoughts on
three,
him?
three. I counted on the first night he had three shots, and one of them was there was a pass played through, and he almost cut in, and he just tipped it, and it went onto the corner where the keeper
Yeah,
touched it,
yeah. By the
and
way,
it
that see if that went in. It was just it came. It
was
wasn't
just
a
his
tip as
movement.
such because he kind of
He
lifted it
cut
up.
in.
He knew
Yeah,
exactly, and it was on the spin. That
yeah.
was some effort, and it was
But
a really. Did he
that
save
was his
that?
first. Aye, that was his first game. Aye, so
Yeah,
that if you look at a guy that's doing that and he's not sharp yet,
yeah,
then like I said, there's little glimpses of him that when he does these little things, you're thinking we might actually have a better player here.
yeah. I
And I mean,
agree.
I get it's early, and I get we don't know like the level of the competition of what we're going up against the league. But from what I'm seeing from him, he seems to have that. Like I said to you, he statistically came to us from the ECHL with the same stats or the same statistical points per game as Scott Pitt did. And look what happened to
Right.
him, McLaren, right? So for me, I like the look of him. He's not he's not a big guy, but he's not small either, and he's not scared to get in and do the nitty gritty as well. He's not just like a pretty player and do
Yeah,
whatever.
that's what I seen from him as well. Yeah.
So he's one that did catch my attention. Like I'm quite impressed with him so far. And again, I guess the early days, but he's the one that kind of was one that I really liked to look at.
So you were talking about Fram.
Yeah,
What I never on that second night. Obviously, I was entertaining like the in-laws, so I never really. I never got watching it properly, essentially because of that, because we were chatting, hadn't seen them for a while and stuff. What was your thoughts on Teppo and Fram then?
I think Teppo scored as well, so like he's quite a tidy player. Um, just I don't want to sound like stereotypical, but he just looks like a very like stereotypical Finnish player. Um,
Mhm.
but if you look at the boy Fram, for me, just he kind of oozes class. Like there's just certain things like again, second game in, playing more minutes than the rest. Like you know what I mean? There's a first line D
I
pair,
did feel he was always on, and I was like,
and when he's on, like he just has that comfort. Like there was a couple of times he were 3-on-1, and all he was doing was closing off the angle, and just little bits that he was doing was just really cool to watch. And you've seen him as well with some of the younger guys. So like I think there was a point when he was on, and it was one of the fourth liners was the boy Anderson, and he was showing him where to go. Like he could
mhm.
on as he was on the back check, he was sitting like,
I
like,
seen that. I actually seen that.
and
Well, I've probably done it more than once, but I
I
did
did
see him
like
doing
that.
that.
I did like that, and you can see him almost like conducting the game. The only thing I would say again out with that is we don't seem so seeing our power play. I might be wrong. I think Newman might be the guy for that. But we didn't look as if we had MD orchestrating that. I felt last year we never really had MD on the power play that we went to as an orchestrator. And I
Yeah.
don't think we have MD. And Fram or Teppo might prove me wrong, but we don't have
How was
MD where
Fram and Teppo for pace? Did you?
Fram's a really good skater. Like the two of them were reasonable on the like Fram was quicker than the two of them. But I would say that Teppo had the like a kind of a bit of slap shot, but I've not seen anybody with that zipper for the blue line yet that you would need in a power play. But what I would say in the second line is or the second night is the power play did look faster. But yes, like Fram, I like look at him. I liked it when we signed him actually because it was a real quality signing because obviously the lad keeper never came through because of injury and stuff like that. So yeah, I like the boy Fram. I really like the look of him and his just his ability. He looked amazing.
What did you think? So this is another thing that I was shocked when the man of the match got announced. The boy Anderson getting it. I never really seen much of him apart from when he took that penalty. I think it was was it too many men, that first penalty against us?
No, he cross-checked the guy as he was going off the ice.
All right, okay. So I wouldn't have seen that for
Yeah,
where my
no,
seat
the guy
was.
was getting back, and you just seen him like lash out a little bit. But I think the night before the boy Kruth got it, and he got it that end. I don't know if it's just a little
Right,
kind of thank you for them from like everybody, because obviously they've stepped in
right.
and helped it. So I think
I
I
didn't know
don't mean
Cruyff
that as
got
pity.
it.
I really don't mean that. I think the lads done really well, and they stepped up when they've come in against like opposition they won't play against week in week out.
Mhm.
So they should hold their heads high, and they did do really well. So that I think that's probably the reasoning behind it.
Yeah, Corey gave him a wee honourable shout out as well in
Oh, the baby or
the
something,
post
and he's about
match.
6'6" or something. He's massive.
Right, so we'll move on to the interview with Corey. Obviously, I only seen one. I never seen any highlights of that. So we're kind of doing the Eagles. We're kind of covering the Eagles games from memory because I don't think they released any VT of that, did they?
No,
No. Um, yeah. So the Corey interview, did you see it?
for the Eagles or that one, just there.
Did they do one for the Eagles? I couldn't see that
No, I was
either.
going to say there
No,
wasn't one,
aye.
but I did watch that one there. Yeah,
Yeah. So when I was watching it, my biggest kind of takeaway for the whole thing was he's still pissed off at referees, isn't he?
I mean, some of the calls on Saturday were shocking. Like that big hit Mackay had, the open ice hit was a fair hit, right?
My thoughts exactly. I don't
And
even think the guy complained about
no, but the other thing was there was certain things that they were doing, and then we were doing something, and you're thinking, where did you get that call from? At one point, see where that Mackay hit, when that happened, they went over and then just called, was it interference? I think
it.
they
Yeah,
called interference, right?
aye,
Because they didn't actually know what they were calling. They
yeah.
blew the whistle, they went over and then they were discussing it. Like I could see them discussing it, and they're like, and then they would, so yeah, he's right to not like. I mean, you
But,
think teams having a
but
pre-season, referees need that too because they're no much better. They're the biggest holdback in our league at the moment is the quality of refereeing.
Corey was quite comical with the way he said that. He's like, I don't know if the guy had asked him, he says about the penalty trouble, and he's like, oh, the penalty trouble's still lingering. He's like, but I mean, nobody likes to see that type of hockey getting played except every single person in the stand. So he was basically just saying to
It
the
was a
ref,
sly dig on it.
aye, butt out and let us play the game. That's the way it should be played. So I thought that was quite funny.
Micromanaging hockey in it, like you go to see it. It's not like tiddlywinks. Let these guys like if it's within reason. I'm not saying that if somebody tries to really hurt somebody like and do some massively out with the rules, but there's certain things you need to let the game flow.
Yeah.
And
Especially, mate, see, especially open ice hits. That is why half the people is there. Like, see that you don't see it often enough now
oh
in the game. So when you are seeing it, it's like a treat, and then
yeah,
they're blowing it down, and you're like, why the hell would
because
anybody
then
keep?
it'll just discourage guys from
Aye,
doing it.
exactly. The next person's not going to do it, or the same person for that matter. So, it's a shame that that seems to be the way it's going.
Did
Finally,
touch on it. Were you going to talk about this? But he touched on with what he said in his interview about the gap.
the gap.
No.
No, on you go.
So basically, when Corey was getting interviewed, I know someone had we talked about this. The Martinet thing seems to be a an elephant in the room, if you would call it that, right? And
So just hold on, it was Martin McCauley, actually. Listen, we only decided we were going on air tonight at night at 8 o'clock, and then it was booked for 9, so we didn't really we'd only got managed to get it up on Facebook that we're going to record for questions, but Martin McCauley managed to get in there and fired this question over that Colin's going to tell us.
well, I was going to say it's been something that we were actually talking about, because the Martinet thing has been we'll call it the elephant in the room, right? Because he's never
Right, hold
been
on. The question
quoted as
was
being here.
the question was Martinet, is he in or is he out? Why isn't there a statement from the club to tell
Well,
him that?
that's what I was going to say. So the elephant in the room is the fact that the club have never announced him as being here, right? they've never they've never actually said that he's not going to play either, or he's not here, or he's decided to do something different, or whatever it is. But Corey, in his interview last night, said we still have a big piece missing, a big piece at the back. Now you need to just, which is going to be hard, but we just need to trust it or something like that. And basically we're going to fill it. Now, I don't know. That is the only piece that you could be talking about. So the fact that we've been playing before Import D and Hazeldine, who again should obviously take a mention, you would never know that guy's a Brit, right?
Brilliant. Absolutely
But
brilliant skater,
he
man. Love him.
but when you watch when he was saying that, the club have never mentioned that Martinet's not there now. Obviously, because we've had the boy keeper that thingied because of injury, and then we had Elmer drop out because of personal reasons. I think the club are, and again, this is just my opinion, I think they're holding back putting anything out until they have someone to replace it. So I
Mm.
think the announcement of whatever is happening, now Martinet might turn up, but I highly doubt it. But if it does happen, then they will put the announcement out that he isn't going to be joining us or whatever, and then they'll follow up like an hour later with "Welcome to the clan," blah, whoever it's going to be.
Mm.
So I do think that we'll probably see something, but I also hope that we're going to sign a couple of spares as well. Like, you know, when the AHL step down happens, maybe we'll get one or two other players in, like we did last year, where we carried a couple of spare guys because with injuries. I mean, Sheffield and guys like that are carrying multiple imports. But yeah, there hasn't been anything, but everybody seems to be asking the same question. There has been nothing to say he's injured, he's not there, he's not going to play, he's probably doing something else or whatever. So yeah, so I think
Yeah.
we'll only hear about it when there is something to replace him with.
Yeah. So for you,
Now I don't know
he's
that
out.
for a fact. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, but your opinion, he's out.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't really have an opinion on it. I don't. What I do know is, well, I think we not talking to somebody, and they says they'd already said that he wasn't coming back anyway.
Yeah, I
But
haven't seen it.
the club, I've not seen anything. But I don't know if maybe you will.
Unless they had inside info that we didn't. But essentially, it might just have been a case that you read a lot online. Like you read people online saying, "Oh, he's not there, or he's doing something else, or whatever." And see if he chooses to do that, and he has got like another offer, or he chooses to do something outside hockey. That's cool. I think just us as fans wants to know. We're nosy, right? We want to know, right, who's playing and when are we getting them? Because obviously you want that spot filled fairly quickly. But I don't think they will do that until they have someone the same or of better caliber, in my opinion.
Hmm.
But there isn't anything been put out at all. It's all
Watch
hearsay at the
this.
moment.
Yeah, watch this space. I'm sure we'll find out soon enough because obviously we'll just kind of go the games coming. Next games coming up is the Warrior Cup over in Germany, I believe.
Yeah. Was it Red Bull München or Munich, however you want to put it?
Red Bull Munich and two others that we couldn't actually find, I'm imagining. So it'll be a
I'm not even
last.
going to try and pronounce them either, to be fair. I struggled with that one.
So it'll be another two games in the legs for the team together.
A lot
Almost
better
complete.
quality as well, mate. You know what I mean? These guys are
Yeah,
not going to be any shucks over there. Like, they're going to be really,
yeah.
really.
To be honest, like last year when we went over, we put a good account of ourselves in both of those games. I know the second game, the first game, like we done pretty well. I remember the second game, I think we're taking a bit of a doing, but we got it back to like 6-4 or
Yeah.
something like that. So um
It's
and,
experience as well. Like, I
and
think the guys are
that team we
travelling.
had last year at the start wasn't great. I thought they were good at. I'm sure I got the webcast for both of those games. Um, and that's probably the best game that we played for the first 15 games of that whole team being together.
Yeah.
Because obviously we had a shaky start of the year last year, so
It's good
hopefully
for
we
the
can
team, though.
go.
Do you know what I
Sorry.
mean? These away trips. I remember when I was younger and used to do these away trips for football and all that kind of stuff. It's a good bonding thing. Like you
Yeah.
get to know your teammates a little better. You're spending a little bit of time together on the travel. You're you're also going away as a group, and then you kind of build those relationships, and then that chemistry when you're away, and maybe that aids it, if you know what I mean, like
Yeah,
to
I
do certain things.
totally agree. I think that's a brilliant point. Brilliant
Um,
point.
and I think that regardless what it is, you're playing a really high caliber of opposition the weekend before the season starts. So you're playing a high intensity tournament in a country where the teams you're playing are in leagues equal to or better than what you're in. You're not going to go in any more prepared. I would much rather do that than, like, for example, play, I don't know,
Fife.
like so
Dundee.
I like something like that. I'd much rather do that than play MD in our league than now and go
Yeah,
and give it because then you're testing that water to see, right, okay, how good are your forwards? How good are your defenders? How good are, do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
yeah, it should be a good tournament, and there'll be a lot of the Purple Army following, so they should enjoy the weekend and give it loudly like normal. You know what I mean? Because they'll not go quietly, as we all know. So
yeah. I hadn't actually gave it much thought. And then over the two games at the weekend, I met people that were going and they let you go on, and I was like, no, but I'm starting to regret I never done anything about it now because obviously it's coming up and it would have been an amazing trip. But at least I've been to, like me that says I'm no going to be bothering with so many games this season. I've been to three and I got the webcast for the other
yeah,
one.
no.
So no doubt I'll be webcasting both of those games over there. So I just good luck to them when they go over, and hopefully I just don't care if they win it or not. Just hope they bond and make the connections with the boys, and the protection for each other's there. I think that's a big part of why they're kind of doing this thing. So aye, that's
See
good.
the other over the weekend, by the way, I noticed that like they were all throwing in hits when it really came to it, and they did start. I mean, you had Cedar that little guy with the mask on at the
Aye,
weekend.
what
He
was
would
that?
take a liberty because he had a mask. He was a younger guy, but he was just acting the arse. And then Cedar took a bit of an exception. Then you had Mackay doing certain bits. Then you had Hazeldine as well at one point having a grip of the boy's shirt. And
Hmm.
then you had Schwartz. There was a few of them that were getting
Aye,
pretty nippy.
Nielsen was trying to
Yeah.
go with one of them as well. Was that
So
night? Was that
no, that
last
was
night?
the night before. That
Was
was
it?
Friday night. So, but like I said, it's kind of cool to see that. I do like that, but you're all in it together and you've got each other back to back in that kind of way. So, like, I'm all for that. But I'm going to ask you, where do you think if we were to bring in spares, right?
Hmm.
Where would you be looking? If you could only bring in one spare, would you bring it in D or at forward?
D.
Would you?
Yeah, D. Um, so what? Yeah, probably D.
Because we've got five import D plus
We've got five at
Hazeldine.
the moment.
Well, no, we will have five.
All right, are you talking about
A
after
spare.
this
If
guy
you
comes
could
in?
bring a
Right?
spare, who would you bring
Um,
in, forward or defence? If you could only bring in one,
so
it's hypothetical.
that means we'll already have five when this guy comes.
Yes.
Right, so you're only really cycling three Brits.
Well, you've got one
All
Hazeldine
one Brit.
there, and then you'll have the Brine as your backup, and then you'll have three Brit forwards.
Well, sense. I don't know. Like probably, I would probably maybe another D man. Yeah, D man. What would you go for?
Forward.
Forward.
Because
Why?
Forbes, we're lucky enough that Forbes can drop back. I think one of the other forwards can play as a D as well. But yeah, we've got guys that can drop in there, but we don't have any guys for the back that can drop forward.
Hmm.
So for me, that's what I would be looking at. But again, that's just me being
How many
hypothetical.
imported were on the last season?
Did we not have two Brit and two? Did we not have two Brit and four? And then we brought in the spare because we brought in we had that wee guy that we played as a forward. But last year, did we not have Kelly and Hazeldine at one point?
Yeah.
And then Kelly left. So yeah, but I think he'll go with five import. Well, he has got five import D, and you'll have one Brit. But Hazeldine, like you wouldn't know if you were first going there, you would not know Hazeldine is a British-born player.
Yeah. I was pleased for him because I thought it was pretty decent over the 4 games. And then obviously getting on with
They
the
won the
three on
overtime goal,
three.
innit?
I wrote in, obviously it was a nice wee bit of play and I just get set him up nicely. And I seen his interview after it and he says, I just seen there was a screen. I was like, just hit this as quick as you can while he's screened. So I was we had a good view of it. So it was good to see and good to see a young Brit getting the winner for us. So it must be nearly time, yeah.
About there, aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Finally, we'll just quickly go to that after battle thing.
Mhm.
Did you see it?
Yep.
Yeah. What'd you think?
It was all right. I think it's like it's an analysis of the game. Now, granted, it's two guys for the club that are doing it. I would much rather they done it and interviewed maybe
Player.
no, not a player, like a supporter. So if you have a couple of people going out, go, have you got time for a couple of minutes? What did you think of the game tonight? What
Mm,
did you think of the game tonight? And then you have like a couple of different opinions because you'll have some folk that think, oh, that was great. And then you have other go, that's our first game. It was magic. We've been here before. This is crap. We want to do X, Y, and Z.
mm.
It's good to, I would do it more as an interview, like as in if you grabbed random people as they were going out, have you got 2 minutes and then just doing a wee bit of a questionnaire? I
I
think it
don't
would be cool.
know. I suppose they could, but they're want to get it out quick as possible, aren't they? So
You probably could do that. I
you've
mean, if
not
you
really
think,
get time to edit it and all that stuff, is what I'm saying.
if you think, how
You
long does
could
it
get
take
some
us to
old
get?
waffler. Do you know what I mean?
But you could do, but at the end of the day, that's down to the interviewee to control that. But if you think how long it takes us to get there to the motor and get out, right? If you were to stop, even if it's like, if you jump into the toilet on the way out,
Yeah.
that's an interview. Like, what did you think of the game tonight? Just a quick question. And what would you do? Are you coming back next week? Aye, it was great, blah, blah, blah. Then you move on to somebody else and you only have like a little bit fenced off and you just grab like three random people and then that's how it gets done. But
I
I think
mean,
they should do that because then you get a true reflection on what the game was like.
God, well, half it would need to be bleeped out probably. They got a hot list. Right, we must be up at time, so we'll just leave it at that, eh?
Aye, we done all right considering there's only two, is it?
Exactly. Aye, my mouth's dry. I've
We're
like
at,
drank
we're
that
at a
full
five
pint
on
there.
three at the moment, mate, and we're defending, you know, that kind of way.
Yeah. So we'll probably do one after the
Well, after the
Germany
Fife
thing.
weekend, maybe.
The Fife, so we've got Fife and Dundee basically right on the heels of that coming up after that. So we'll get one up in another couple of weeks. Get that out. Hopefully,
The Fife
we might
games
know. It
will
depends
not
how
be.
many people listen to this.
The Fife games will be tasty this year.
Yeah.
They've got a couple of guys that like to rumble and you know what Fifers are like, so they'll like all that. So I think the games will not be
Yeah.
mundane, if you would call it
They'll
that. They'll be
they'll be extra excited with the recruitment and stuff. So they'll be coming into Braehead probably with a bit of swagger. So we'll need to slap it at them and just get the business done. Right, so we'll leave it at that. And we'll do another one in another couple of weeks, and hopefully we come back with the Warrior Cup, and we can show it to all the Fife fans the way in the door. All right, right, that's us. Thanks everyone, and come on the clan.